Stocks are attempting a much bigger rebound today after the President Trump tweeted this morning. And here is the tweet. China has just informed us that they, the vice premier, are now coming to the U.S. to make a deal. We'll see, but I am very happy with over $100 billion a year in tariffs. Joining us now from Washington is Yahoo Finance's Jessica Smith. And critics like to point out that it's the American consumer who's paying these tariffs. It's not China. But the administration doesn't talk about that, do they?
No, they don't like to talk about that point, but lawmakers on the Hill bring it up very often. But Press Secretary Sarah Sanders actually just spoke to reporters shortly, a few minutes ago, and said, kind of an echo of what the president tweeted. She said that the White House has gotten indications that the Chinese want to come and make a deal. She says negotiations are ongoing right now, and she says the talks will start up again tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But despite that possible sign of progress, the United States Trade Representative moved to make the tariff hike on Friday official. Ambassador Lighthizer filed the notice on this tariff increase this morning, saying China has chosen to retreat from specific commitments agreed to in earlier rounds. In light of the lack of progress in discussions with China, the president has directed the trade representative to increase the rate to 25%. So on Friday, it looks like it's official. Those tariffs will go up to 25% from 10%. Now, I did spend the morning on Capitol Hill talking to several senators about this situation, and we did hear kind of a mixed reaction. I talked to Republican Senator John Thune, and he called this a high-stakes poker match. He says the president feels like he has leverage right now and doesn't want to let this opportunity go to waste to really hold China accountable, though he did note that farmers are struggling. But then I talked to Republican Senator Rick Scott, and he had kind of an interesting take here. He does not think that negotiators will be able to get things back on track tomorrow. So I asked him, without a deal, are these tariffs worth it? The tariffs that are set to go up on Friday. And he said, absolutely. He is more concerned about American companies losing their technology to China than the cost to consumers. He says that right now we need to do everything we can to build up the American economy, and he thinks these tariffs will serve that purpose. We'll see how things go tomorrow when negotiations start up again, and on Friday when these tariffs go up.
We will, Jess. Thanks so much. Let's talk about this with the panel now. Aikiko, as we get this increase in tariffs, how much of a lever is this going to be against China? We also got trade data, the trade balance out of China today. There was a smaller trade surplus than estimated. In addition to that, of course, we'll probably get retaliatory tariffs from China. So how do you think this is all going to play out?
Yeah, I have to say I'm a little surprised by the bounce back we're seeing in the market based on the president's tweets, because there's no real details at the end of the day. We're no different than where we were yesterday. You know, how much leverage does the U.S. have? I'm not so sure the U.S. has as much leverage as the president and his administration has pushed forward. If you look at where China is right now, there's no question they have been hurting. But now we're starting to see signs that the stimulus that they've pushed forward is starting to work just slightly. And so if we're talking about, where the Chinese are coming to the table, I have a hard time seeing any kind of deal getting done in just a matter of 2 days.
Well, and investors seem to agree with Aikiko, because we started the last hour, all three indexes in the green, and now the S&P 500 and Nasdaq have fallen back into negative territory, with the Dow possibly headed that way. Do you expect a deal Friday?
I don't see how it's possible. I would agree with her. I don't think it's going to happen this week. We might get some rhetoric around something. Well, we've had some basic agreement here. I'm looking at the tape right now. It's pretty tentative. Nobody's sure what's really going on. I can't call this a bounce back. We're actually slightly negative right now. So it's going to play out for some time here. This might be an ugly day still. We might see a big sell-off in the last hour. I'm not encouraged by what I'm seeing right now.